I have a subscriber. At least I think I have a subscriber. I'm not 100% sure because I can't quite figure out the dashboard thing. But what happened is last night, I just happened to have a quick look at my YouTube thing as I uploaded video 4 of my 10 throwaway learn how to do it video thing. And this is video number 5. And I noticed that I had a comment. Now, I was a bit nervous about that because I thought, oh no, it's going to be somebody that says, get off the screen, you ugly idiot, go away. It's going to be something horrible. You know, people do that, don't they, on these other platforms and stuff like that. They get very abusive. So I sort of looked at it very gingerly, like you would take your plaster off and that. And I looked and it was a really nice comment. It was basically saying, you know, just keep at it. Just keep pumping the stuff out there and you'll get there in the end. And it was from somebody called Future Eden. So thank you very much for that. And I went on his site and I subscribed to him last night. And then today, I think he's subscribed. And I say think, as I say, I don't really know the dashboard thing, but I think it was him. So thank you very much, Future Eden. I'd also like to say thank you to Rob the Maritimer. Now he's in Nova Scotia and I just happened to stumble on one of his videos last night. It was the title that drew me in, of course, because his title was "Don't Tell Anyone That You're Starting a YouTube Channel." Curious the way he made it. He was just walking down this cold sort of lane in Nova Scotia, -12, and by the side of a sea or a lake or something like that, gloves on, holding a camera and talking to the camera like that. I don't know, but it was fascinating. And his argument was basically that if you tell everybody about YouTube, they go and have a look at your film, they have a bit of a laugh and all that, but YouTube itself gets a little bit confused. Like, it goes, who are they? Because they haven't got a sort of intrinsic interest in your niche or you as a content creator. So they're just looking at you because they know you. They're not, they're not following you. So it seemed like good advice. His advice basically was just leave it to YouTube to work out the algorithms, let people who want to find you, as opposed to your mates. So good advice from him. Thanks very much to Rob the Maritimer.
You do not want to tell anybody that you have a YouTube channel.
Now, I've cut away a little bit for Rob the Maritimer because one of the great things about YouTube, you have to do a cutaway. Well, I have to do a cutaway because then it gives you a chance to start again. You can edit yourself in. Because another new thing here is I'm not using an auto cue today. I didn't use an auto cue yesterday, but I did learn the script and I shot it on my iPhone. But my first 3 videos, I had an auto cue with the script written on it. So I'm just rambling on today, so apologise in advance if this goes on for more than about 3 or 4 hours. But what is it I want to look at today? Oh yes, the thing that's been striking me now is forget niche. Forget niche and forget knowing your audience. Everybody says you've got to know your audience before you start out. Well, I don't know my audience, and as I keep saying, I don't really think I have an audience yet, apart from Future Eden. So I'm putting that aside. I've got another 5 videos to make next week in my self-imposed, ridiculous, make 10 throwaway videos just to get used to doing this. So I'll be thinking about my niche next week. But for now, I'm thinking about something else, and that's presentation. And I'm looking at 2 things, which is the most important thing: content or quality, or both. That's the third option, both. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, yesterday I mentioned Prince ER.
I have 6 million subscribers.
What's great about him is he's passionate about what he says, and his enthusiasm comes through. He's not worried about the pictures. He's not worried about what, the coloured lights and all that sort of stuff, depth of field, doesn't care about. He's just got that big whiteboard thing. That's all he's got. And he's even holding a clip microphone, like he's holding it in his hand like that, as if to say, which I think is his message, none of it matters how you get your information across. Just get your information across, and your enthusiasm will carry, your charisma will carry through. Now that's all right for him because he's got lots of charisma. I hate looking at myself on screen, and I don't think I've really got anything to teach anyone anyway. So, what's the point me being on screen talking to an audience? Now at the other end of that, the charisma, don't worry about nice pictures, is somebody who puts nice pictures on. And so I'm thinking here of the life of Ritza. Is it Ritza? Ritza. Life of Ritza. Riza.
This better be good.
Sorry, she's not going to be watching, but I mean, her pictures are absolutely fantastic, and I don't know quite how she does what she does. She does the filming, she does the sound, she does the lighting, she does the editing, and she performs in it. I mean, it's hard enough just to keep focus on yourself and to come up with a story like that, and it must take her ages to put something like she puts together, because she's got long shots, wide shots, and all that sort of stuff.
I saw stories in the ordinary, the magic in the mundane, the things I was always shy to, and lived how I always wanted to.
She's not really teaching you anything. She's just sort of showing aspects of her life. So it's an entertainment in a way. Two things put me off from that. One is an awful lot of work. I mean, I've worked as a cameraman for the last 15 years or so and videographer, so I know that putting stuff like that together just takes forever. And the second thing is she obviously has to put the camera down, then walk away over here so that she can walk back. Now, I live in London. If you put a camera down somewhere in London and then you walk over there and turn around it's gone. I mean, you can't even use your phone like that without, both hands, because somebody's going to cycle past and steal your phone and cycle off on a electric bike. So leaving a tripod in the middle of London, that's not going to work. But I do like the fact that she's got these great pictures, and I do like the fact that it's creative. It takes an awful lot of time to do that. Okay, so on the one hand, we've got Prince ER, who just relies on his charisma and his presentation skills, and he's got content to say that people will find engaging. Don't worry too much about the pictures. And then you have the life of Ritza, and beautiful pictures, a story, and something that's engaging, and you watch. You don't necessarily come away knowing anything about how to make lots of money on YouTube or anything like that. You just think, wow, that's just impressive, and yeah, great to watch. Most people seem to be in the middle, and there are a few presenters that I've looked at who, kind of in the middle. One of them is Virginia Kerr.
I thought starting a YouTube channel would be easy.
Now, I've looked at a few of Virginia Kerr's things because she talks about presentation, which is a great thing to talk about, really. If you think about it, everybody's sitting in front of a camera in their room talking, so they've got to present. Now, she was a journalist, and I think she was a news anchor for many years, so she kind of knows what she's talking about. By her own admission, she says she doesn't know anything about cameras and lights and all that sort of stuff, so she's not too worried about that side of things. Obviously, she's worked with them in newsrooms and stuff like that, but other people deal with it. So yeah, she talks about presentation, but she's not too worried about the background. She's got these two great big washing machines, very American, in her kitchen. And she just talks there. So again, no lights, nothing fancy in the background. Jen Jager. Now again, similar kind of presenter in a way. She's very, very engaging, teaches Final Cut Pro. And she will cut away to her screen very often and show you what she's doing. And you learn a lot about Final Cut Pro. If you want to learn Final Cut Pro, she's the person to go to. I think she's a very great presenter. But again, she works in video production, but she doesn't light her background. She doesn't do all that. She just sits with a little screen there and stuff like that. It's just her and a picture frame behind her. No real lighting. So again, it's kind of like her content is key. It's not bad pictures. I'm not saying it's bad pictures or anything like that. It's just that she hasn't spent ages dressing it all up. It's what she's saying is the most important thing. Now, sometimes you have to make the pictures look good, because I watched a lot of Darren Mostyn's stuff. And Darren Mostyn teaches colour grading in DaVinci Resolve. And that's his job. He's a colour grader, so he's got all the gear sitting there and it all looks very nice. Now, he has to make the pictures look nice, because that's what he's basically selling. His job is to teach you how to make pictures look nice. If his pictures look rubbish, it wouldn't really work, would it? So he has to make the pictures look nice, and they do look nice, and he obviously has to spend some time grading them, but at least he knows how to do that. Most people are kind of in the middle. What they tend to do is kind of what I've done here today now. It's easier to do in a way. You build a bit of a set, or you find a bit of a house which could be a bit of a set, and move things around a little bit. Blue lights, people like a little bit of blue light behind, don't they? And tungsten light, and maybe a little bit of daylight coming in on your face. Maybe even a bit of negative fill on this side if you want some really dark shadows. I haven't done that here. But most people seem to do that. They have a lovely background, and then they will talk to you about whatever their niche is. If the presenter isn't saying something that you're engaged in, yeah, you're not going to watch it. Doesn't matter how good the background is, because you've seen the background. It's not going to change unless a light goes out or something like that, or a lamp falls over, or the camera falls over. It's quite a good thing because it's, especially if you stay like it, it gives you a kind of, it's a trademark basically, isn't it? People say, oh, I've seen this video before, recognise that person, recognise that set. Somebody who takes that a little bit further is Mark Tilbury. I don't know if you've seen his stuff. He's got a set behind him, a little bit of light and all that sort of stuff, shoots it in his house, I think. But he wears this red shirt, very often wears a red shirt. And so it's just one more bit of branding. It's one more kind of thing in this millions and millions of YouTube people out there trying to sort of stand out in YouTube. That's one more bit of branding. You go, who's that guy in the red shirt who talks about pensions? Oh yeah, Mark Tilbury. And he talks quite a lot of sense. Usually, has to be said, oh, Mark, I wish you were watching this, because he talks to people who may be in their 20s and saying how important it is to start a pension now and build up over the next 40 years or so. You should get me on your program, Mark, because I'm like 65. Oh, like 65, I'm 65. And I haven't really got a pension sorted out at all. So I'm having to start out trying to make YouTube videos in order to make my fortune. I haven't even got a niche yet, or I don't know who. Apart from Future Eden, I don't know who my audience is. But I hope to get there. So I think what I'm saying is I like the idea of having some kind of setup, not necessarily this one, but you know what I mean, a bit of blue light or something like that, a bit of tungsten light, a bit of daylight coming onto your face and a bit of negative fill. I like that. Talking to the camera, so it visually it looks nice. You don't have to look at me. I might put some books or something, you know, that you can look at and think, oh, well, I might buy that book. I don't think I can just stand in an empty room and teach something, because I just don't have that charisma. I don't have that passion. And I don't know anything. I don't really know anything that I can teach. Plus, I hate looking at myself on the screen. I think I'm far too old and ugly, so I don't think that's an option. And the alternative is to make beautiful films. But the thing is, I mean, I've written films in the past and I've wanted to make those films, but I can't afford to make them. And so YouTube doesn't really change that. All YouTube is a distribution. If you make a film, you can put it out for free and people can watch it. They won't watch it, but you can put it out for free. It seems to me that whatever your niche is and whoever your audience is, the most important thing is that you put a lot of stuff out so that they come back again and again and they learn more and more and more and they get to know who you are. So you have to put stuff out every week, really. And if you're going to make a film, that's going to take a month. Each one's going to take a month. You've got to write it. Just one last caveat. I did come up with an idea for a film, and I'll tell you what, you can probably have this now, because I can't afford to do it. I'm never going to do it. And it's set in a kind of English village. And they've got a kind of barn thing, if you can imagine a big barn in an English village somewhere. And it's a group of people, various ages, and it's called channelists, and they're all YouTubers. So they all make, they all sit like this, and so in this big barn, you've got lots of little sets, and they all come in and they do their little bit with the set. And the guy who owns the place edits it all together for them, because they don't really know what they're doing. And he puts them all out, and they kind of share the profits. And so you've got this sort of rivalry between them. Some are watched by 10 people, some have got millions of viewers, and they've got various, and they're all doing different channels. There's somebody who's doing beauty, there's somebody who's doing something else. And when I was writing it, I thought, I'm going to come up with something that's so absurd that no one's going to do it. So I came up with the idea of dog walking. Somebody puts a camera on the top of their dog and just goes for a walk, and that's the video. I went on YouTube, and there are people that are actually doing that. Like, you can't make anything up these days that isn't actually happening. So that was a niche. And anyway, and then I thought what they would do in this film is they, in order to promote themselves, they put cameras all over the place, and they have to make a drama of their real lives. So it's a kind of fly-on-the-wall documentary. So you've got the two things. You've got them making films about beauty or trains or DIY or walking your dog and that sort of stuff. And then you've got these cameras around, so you see them all interacting with each other and the jealousies and stuff like that. And they come up with the idea that the films have got to be 6.5 minutes long. That's it. So there's a whole series of episodes of 6.5 minutes. Anyway, I never made that. Obviously, you can have it if you want it. Right. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. That's just rambling on. Do you know? I think I might have to go back to an auto cue after this. Yeah. I think it's safer.